So for order, is it okay if we do Sammy, Mila, and then Earl? Is that okay?
That
Just
sounds good.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Cool, let's get started. Woo! So, it's been a long time since I've seen Professor Howard. We went to school together at Florida State, and he was a huge inspiration for me, one of the best clarinet players I've ever heard. So, let me tell you just a little bit about him. So, he's originally from San Antonio, Texas, and he currently serves as instructor of clarinet and chamber ensembles at Eastern Connecticut State University, as a clarinetist with the United States Coast Guard Band, and as bass clarinetist for Seven, a reed quintet based in Eastern Connecticut. As a member of the Coast Guard Band, he has performed with the concert band and chamber winds in more than 30 states, Japan, and Taiwan, and has been featured as a concerto soloist on several occasions. He is also an active member of the Coast Guard Band's Clarinet Quartet, with performances at New York City's Weill Hall, Recital Hall, and multiple appearances at the ICA annual conventions. He performs regularly with the Hartford and Eastern Connecticut Symphony Orchestras. Additionally, Mr. Howard serves as principal clarinetist and concertmaster with the U.S. Navy Band Northwest in Seattle. Oh, served, sorry.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I was like, man, he gets around. Principal clarinet of the Bremerton?
Yep.
Symphony Orchestra in Bremerton, Washington. And second in his solo E-flat clarinetist of the Tallahassee Symphony in Tallahassee, Florida, which is where I knew him. He's also a clarinet technician. He is apprenticed with Pete Rodriguez in San Antonio, Texas, and studied with Kristen Bertrand in New York City. Chris is the owner and operator of Howard Woodwind Company, a specialty clarinet shop. He holds degrees in clarinet from the University of Texas at Austin and Florida State University. He lives with his wife in Connecticut, Casey, who I would love to catch up with one day, and his 2 children, a cat and a dog. So thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you guys hear me okay before I mute myself?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
So I want to take a moment. I introduce all the students because they deserve big introductions. This is Sammy. Sammy is in her last year doing performance and music education. And her senior recital is this Saturday. So, yeah.
Very cool.
All right, awesome.
All right. Awesome. Nice job, Sammy.
Thank you.
So congratulations in advance on your senior recital. That's a pretty seminal moment to get through. So I'm not going to dig into anything that is going to affect your recital in any way, so because I know you're playing this on Saturday, you're performing this Saturday, but there are definitely a couple of little things that I think can are really quick and easy fixes that could really make a little bit of a difference. Right off the bat, in that second bar, I like the way you're approaching this, and you're taking the freedom to play the second statement, much more subdued than the first. Be careful about the rhythm in the second beat of it. Make sure that the first B flat still really sounds like a 16th note. It almost sounded like two downbeats. So even though you're coming away, I would still give it a little bit of a, you can ping it just a little bit so that you really kind of preserve the integrity of the rhythm. Let's see. Actually, can we hear that? Can we just hear the first two statements? Can I make just a quick suggestion? Just a little bit of just from whatever you've been taught as far as support and how you like to support. You think low, everything kind of down here. Give a little bit of push with that when you get to that first C. Da-dee-da, da. Maybe not like I just sang it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Almost like there were an accent in parentheses above it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm talking about the 16th note C.
Okay. I know what you're saying, but it's
Yeah. It's something to mess with, and it's something that you can do easily by Saturday.
for sure.
Yeah, and let's hear the second statement. Cool. Let's keep going. Now I'm curious. At 20 here, are you getting just be lost in translation across the internet? But I'm wondering if all of those triplets can ride this line. Can you try that one time and slur the whole thing? Oh, and in slow motion. No cheating, don't tongue any of those, any of the triplets.
Don't
Slur the whole thing.
Yeah.
What's that? Yep.
Slur it?
Yeah, slur the whole thing. Good. Now, even though it's marked with that staccato on the third triplet, I feel like that's what your air needs to do. So go ahead and put the articulations back in, but keep it slow. Do you find yourself wanting to push the air just a little bit on the downbeats?
A little, yeah.
Yeah. Can you avoid that?
I'll try.
Try it. Yeah, I know. Great. Speed it up. Yeah, so I would go like over the next couple of days, just do that 3 or 4 times, all slurred, one time with the articulation still slow, and then play it fast and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Let's go on. I'm wondering, it could be Zoom, it could be the internet, but I get the impression that maybe your pianos could be a little bit softer.
Okay.
And just a little bit more a little bit more nervous energy in your piano.
Okay. Yeah, that was hard.
That's, I think whatever whatever you're playing there is different from what I've got here in my
Yeah, we
score.
made a couple adjustments.
Yeah, I'll just let you do that, and not get too far into the weeds with that part of it. I'm wondering though, it sounds like, and I'm sure you've talked with Professor Menasha a ton about voicing and the position, like throat and tongue and all that stuff. Because I know that we had some of the same teachers. um, I'm wondering if it's possible to really keep your tongue position in check as you get louder, and especially as you get louder, but as you're getting higher, I would think more of a, just try and bring it up a little bit, that kind of tight ball of compressed air between the roof of your mouth and the tongue, with the tongue raised. Can we try that again and just try and really kind of bring the focus in a little bit as you get loud?
Okay.
And don't let it get, don't try to, you want it to be exciting, but don't lose control.
Okay.
Can you really vanish by the time you get to that C at the top?
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Can you do even, yeah, can you do even more?
Sure.
About 5 minutes.
Thank you. Play that C, add an extra P,
Okay.
but just play it and hold. Play a high C as soft as you can. Yeah, can you end there?
I'll try.
And
Yeah.
most of the diminuendo can happen on the last 4 notes.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah, great. Now, one other little thing, how much do you love your read right now?
I like it a lot.
Okay, good. I think it sounds pretty good. And I don't think your read had anything to do with the response issues between 45 and 50. I think that you might be trying too hard to control those high notes. You might be overworking with the jaw. I think you might be able to relax the jaw and work the corners more. Can you try that? Don't try to clamp down. Open up just a little bit and let the reed vibrate. You know, you're playing pretty much at a forte plus, right? So can you play what you've got there and take a chance? If it squeaks or squawks, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right?
45?
45.
Okay.
Push your corners in, open your jaw just a little bit more, and see if you can really let the reed vibrate.
A little better.
It's okay. What is the top note fingering? What are you using there?
The same as E, but with the F sharp key.
Okay. What happens if my read on? What happens if you throw your F sharp key and your E flat key down at the same time for that? Will it respond more easily?
Yeah, I think so.
Check the pitch on it and see if it works for you. But that might help. And again, lots of support and lots of corner support, but not too much jaw pressure. Because up there in the altissimo, you've got to let the reed do that,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Otherwise it's gonna, if you start pinching, you're gonna get that kind of strained feeling in the sound, and then you start trying to control it even more, so you bite down even more, and it's like kind of, so just relax and let it go. Try one more time.
Yeah, that's.
Play that high A as play the A as a long tone. It's okay. Don't worry about everybody else in the room's ears. They can close them if they need to. Really sustain it and find out where, memorize here where it feels perfect. Good. Now play it as a quarter note. Da. Do it again. Think about that voicing. That voicing needs to be programmed into your brain. That's getting there. Very nice. Everybody else in the room, you're welcome.
45 again, or?
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
Okay. I'll have to practice it.
And yeah, the fingering may be worse or better. I don't know. Either way, you can mess with that. But the biggest thing is, and sometimes as you're going into any, I feel like the A is kind of the beginning of the extreme altissimo to me. And sometimes I'll bring them a little bit more mouthpiece in also. And that I find that can be helpful.
Okay.
To make those notes more dependable. Again, you're letting the reed vibrate just a little more.
Awesome.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck on your recital. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I said good luck on your recital. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very good. All right, cool. Mila. So can you say something so your pane pops up? Mila?
Guess I should unmute first. Did it come up?
Yep, good. I'm going to remove the pin so it flips back and forth between the two of you. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to do the Cossack caper first, correct?
Okay. These look great. I was not familiar with this book. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Sure. I was not familiar with this book, so this is cool.
Yeah, Dr. Kristen Denny Chambers wrote it, and it was released last year. And then, she's got a second book coming up, and it's really great to bridge the gap between upper, intermediate, and advanced. It's a wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so Mila is one of the community members who has signed up to play, just mainly to give our studio just a slight break. They have had a lot of master classes. So Mila lives in the Washington, D.C. area and has considered herself a professional sub for several of the local community bands and orchestras, subbing in a lot of woodwind areas because initially she's a flute and oboe player, but has picked up the rest of the woodwind instruments. Yeah, so are you ready for the performance?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Awesome, Milo. Do we want to listen to both, or do we want to do one at a time?
Milo, do you have a preference?
Either way.
Oh, why don't we listen to both?
Okay.
They're about 2 minutes each.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay, here's, gotta figure out how to work this computer. Here's Foothills.
All right.
And I apologize,
Sure.
I think I sent the clarinet instead of the bass clarinet version.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I do have the clarinet version, so I was noting where octaves were displaced and when they weren't. So, was everything you were playing, Mila, exactly what's written on the page there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That is good to know because I was about to get into that. So one of the big, beautiful job, by the way, is all very, very accurate. And really, especially on Caustic Caper, the differences in nuance that you were making was really terrific. I'm wondering, so you're a doubler, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I That's a thing. I should be really good at Zoom by now, but I'm still not. So I'm wondering when you're playing bass clarinet, as far as I'm wondering about some voicing things that might really help control the sound again, especially at louder dynamics. When you play B flat clarinet also, or soprano clarinet?
Yes, I do. And so this is a new toy for me. So I'll take any.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a nice toy to have. I play a lot of bass, so I'm a big fan. So when I'm playing bass, there's not, for me, a huge amount of difference in the voicing shape that I use when I play soprano clarinet. There's maybe a little bit more open, but it's really easy to let the voicing on the bass clarinet get kind of flabby, and that's when the sound really kind of loses focus. And there's one of the coolest sounds in the world is a really beautifully focused, penetrating kind of bass clarinet sound, and like you're just right there on the edge. So I think if you could try bringing the tongue up a little bit higher, and one of the things that I think can be helpful, I was gonna say on Foothills Minuet, if you're playing in the upper range of the instrument, about that really focused tune, and then you maintain that focus when you're playing like low C, right? So can we try that? Let's just take like in half notes, play a scale from C in the staff to C in the staff, all slurred, nice and slow, and really, mezzo piano, mezzo forte-ish, and really think about focusing and focusing the sound and creating a penetrating sound. Good. Now, and obviously we're not able to fix all voicing issues in 15 minutes, but can you think, as far as just the most basic voicing control, the e, and bringing the tongue up into that E syllable, and really focus on nothing but that this time, and do the same thing. So now, can you do the same thing, but take the register key off? Mezzo forte, mezzo piano. So I would take that middle dynamic and do long tones, whatever, slow scales, all of that stuff, really thinking about creating that focus in the voicing, and then, do it for 10 or 15 minutes each day, and then don't worry about it and go back to play your music and let it work its way into your playing. Now, as far as the music stuff goes, I thought
5 minutes.
Can we try? So caper, I thought every single little detail was there. And I'm wondering, I wasn't hearing that as much in the Foothills Minuet. I'm wondering if we could try that again and really exaggerate everything you see.
Okay. Go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if in the recording, it's beautiful. Like you have a very musical way about the way you play. So I'm wondering if maybe in the recording you were really worried about playing all the right notes, as opposed to really getting kind of the nuance of the music into it.
I was definitely doing more there than I was.
Yeah, yeah. So can we try the same thing again, only this time a little faster, and take more time with the breath mark?
Oh, that one. Okay.
Keep going.
Oh.
So, so Milo, I'm curious. Do you think you can tank up with a little bit more air to make that first breath mark after 22 and
Yeah,
not have to breathe after the? Yeah, let's try that. Yeah. So the phrasing is beautiful. Oh, the phrasing is beautiful. You're doing everything that's there. I would say my biggest overarching comment, if you would take anything from this class, would be the to work on the the control in voicing as you get louder, so that it sounds just as beautiful as it does when you get softer.
Okay.
You know, record yourself playing long tones at all dynamics. Something that I find helpful is um, when you're working on control at louder volumes, long tones from loud to soft are very helpful too. But it sounds great. Congratulations on the bass clarinet. That's an exciting acquisition, and it's not a small one, I know. So that's great.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Milo, that sounded beautiful. So now our final person is Earl. Earl is a first-year performance student who'll be playing the 3 etudes, the Harvey. He has the first and the second movement prepared, but I'm assuming you'll start with the first.
Yeah.
All right, so. Yay.
Great job, Earl. Sounds awesome, man. So I have a couple of kind of overarching things. One of the biggest ones, if we look kind of in the second page, it's about 2/3 of the way down. One of the things that's really common when we're playing unaccompanied music is it can become easy to sort of lose that metronomic integrity. You just want to, you kind of make everything just a little bit too free. And I would challenge you to be very careful about that, especially if, let's say, look, maybe 4 lines from the end. Dum bim bum bum ba da da boo da da ba 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 beat up da da ba ba da da. I would keep that click in your head. That's definitely a spot where you're not going to want to take too many liberties because of all of the syncopation. Because if it becomes too free, then you lose sense of the fact that it should be syncopated. Does that make sense? Yeah, can we try that? Maybe start with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down, just the triplets, and see if you can really maintain that metronomic integrity so that we can feel that syncopation. Oh, second page, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, where?
Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down, last measure. It's just the triplets, the fortissimo triplets, 16ths. Yeah. So can we slow it down just a little bit and really make sure everything's very accurate to the time, to the beat. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. Yeah, so right. So this is the area that I was most concerned about, Earl, was when you start playing really quickly here, I'm losing the sense of and so that should all be exactly in time. I wouldn't take too many liberties, and it seems like you're wanting to rush through quite a bit of it. So I would really spend some time with the metronome going through that and really get that click in your head while it's playing. You're doing so much so well. I think that's something that they could really kind of set this whole movement off, you know? Can we start at the beginning now? Can we go back to the beginning?
Sure.
All right. Hey, so let's talk about that F sharp. It's one of the worst notes on the clarinet as far as the standard fingering goes. What are you using?
The thumb
Just
up.
use the middle finger
Yeah.
here. Are you familiar with the overblown B flat version of F sharp?
I don't think so.
Just play a high B flat. Great. Now overblow it. Play an F, same fingering, play an F sharp. Great. Now don't scoop it. So there's a good chance that if I were playing this, I might use that fingering. For me, it's extremely dependable. And it can depend on your clarinet also, but I just noticed that it didn't speak for you both times that we tried it. So see if that works for you one time.
Okay. From the beginning?
Sure. Great. Now, very good. Before you go on, really take that slow, like really take advantage of where it says slow. Go real slow. Can you be even more dramatic with that? Take even more time?
Sure.
Cool. Now relax your right hand and just smooth it out a little bit more. And again, very slow. Good. I would, can you make more of the accents? As you go into the B natural, maybe draw yourself a big backwards arrow, even though it's not marked to do it. I would slow things down quite a bit. Sorry, give me a sec. Really pull back on that as you get toward the end of it. Yeah, start all the way after the fermata.
Okay.
So I think you're getting too fast too soon. Pace yourself a little bit more. And then start going. And then as you get, I think when I played this once, but you know, it's not written, so I don't know. But take your time. Keep going. And then again, there you've got that caesura. Right? Take advantage of that big stop and crescendo all the way to the end of the note. Right? Start where it says slow at the top of the page. And again, lots of patience where it says slow. Well, I think that can you move that pianissimo over to the G natural? So you really have. Really, really suddenly soft there. Good. Be careful there with your rhythm. Jug it up, right? Start on that, just after the caesura. Cool. So I would suggest if you could imagine you've got a rhythm section playing in the background, pretty much from where it says the subito pianissimo all the way until all the way until the end of the fortissimo trill on the next page. So I would practice that in big chunks with just turn on a metronome and play from beat it up, because there's so much syncopation that will get lost if the tempo isn't perfectly steady throughout.
We got
So
5 minutes.
oh, thank you. So imagine that happening in your ear all the way through the end of that trill. And then you get to take your time again after that where it says slow. So you're doing a great job. Really work on taking your time where it says slow and really exaggerating the slows, and start slower, get faster. When you stop, when you have a chance to pause longer. So it's all about patience. All of the fast and loud and exciting stuff is a lot more effective when you're really patient with everything else. Make sense? Yeah. So with all of the free stuff, do that, and then really get the metronome out and solidify that middle page. Okay. How about the summertime? Well, we have a couple minutes left.
Summertime playlist, I really didn't mention that before.
Give it a go.
Okay.
What's that? What's that?
He's got to grab he left the music at his chair.
Oh, okay. So that first movement, he just used, I've got rhythm and who could ask for anything more? That's all I can hear. I've got rhythm, I got rhythm. There are other words in that song, right? Cool. Hey, Earl, really quickly. So I've noticed this a couple of times. Don't be afraid of, make sure you really have your embouchure set, and don't be afraid to really launch into the A, into the first note, so that you don't go. Cool. Yeah, I'll take some more time with that, but can we go back to the beginning? And I'm just curious about something, Earl. Can you push the stand about a foot away from you? Or yeah, just back up. That works too. And I get the impression that you're a little bit buried into the stand, maybe even push, I don't know how much further down it will go. Maybe get it down a little bit and yeah, just get away from the music a little bit and really perform this.
Okay.
I want to see you, you know? So yeah, it's great. You've got the right kind of feeling for this whole beginning. I'm wondering if the whole thing, especially your mezzo piano, can be a little bit less, because right now I think it's kind of matching or is louder than your mezzo forte that comes after it. So just make sure you're maintaining the relationship from dynamic to dynamic as you go. And as if you look again along the lines of the dynamics, as you look further down the page, you know, all of the 16th notes in that second to last line, make sure that those stay piano also. Okay, but let's see. Can we start right on the mezzo piano? And then as you get to the mezzo forte in the next line, make sure that you're louder than you were when you played your mezzo piano. So how did you feel about on a 1 to 10 dynamic scale, like a 1 to 10 tabito scale, where would you feel like that mezzo piano was?
Like a 5.
About a 5. Can you bring it down to maybe a 4 or 3.5?
Sure.
Keep it piano. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's let's stop there. Great job, man. It sounds really awesome. A couple little things and it'll really will really set it off. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So, if you don't mind, just telling us a little bit about all the wonderful things you do. You have such a diverse kind of life as far as music, and then maybe we can ask some questions about that.
Sure, yeah. So I keep a lot of irons in the fire, and they're all kind of in the clarinet universe. So my primary job, at least for the next year or so, is with the United States Coast Guard Band. I've been in the band for about 15 years now. And during that time, you know, I've played in the concert band and the clarinet quartet and done all, you know, all the things that they have to offer, which is a lot. You know, it's a very exciting place to work. You get to go to work with really great musicians every day. It's awesome. And outside of that, I also teach clarinet at the ECSU, which is Eastern State University. It's nearby, as an adjunct position. And then I also have a clarinet workshop. So when I was in my undergrad, I spent my summers apprenticing with a guy in San Antonio, Texas. That's a really, really brilliant machinist and instrument technician, and focused on, he was kind of all woodwind focused, and I took that and kind of brought it all into the clarinet. And so I started a workshop. Probably, I just kept getting frustrated. I kept sending my instrument out and getting it back. And, I don't know how many times I had said to myself, I'd just do it myself if I had a shop. So I started building a shop about 4 years ago, I think, and opened for business about 2 years ago. And it's been a fun ride. It's been exciting. And yeah, I that's kind of, those are the main things I do, and chase my kids around and try to keep them quiet while I'm giving master classes and things like that. But yeah, that's it. As far as I can recall, I'm sure I'm missing something. But yeah, if anybody has any questions about like what I do in the band or the instrument technician stuff or whatever, what's it like in Connecticut? Yeah, I don't know. Fire away, please.
Yeah, Sam has one.
Do you
Okay.
just do mainly repairs, or do you like make parts or like all the instruments as well?
I would say it's 60% doing clarinet overhauls and COAs and that sort of thing. Third, I don't know, I can't break out. I do a lot of overhauls and COAs, and then I also make clarinet barrels. Actually, this is one that's sitting right here. It was a custom job for somebody. It's sitting here in oil that I just got all over my hands. So I make barrels, I make E-flat clarinet extensions. And then I also, I'm a buffet dealer also. So I sell instruments and parts and things like that.
We have a question online.
Okay.
Does the Coast Guard band do mainly tours, or is a lot of playing closer to Connecticut?
That's a really good question. So when I first went into the band in 2006, we toured a lot. And then kind of with the sequestration, which was around 2011, I think, and then, political climates being what they are, it's kind of messed with our tour schedule. So we've only been on, I think, 2 or 3 tours in the last 6 years. But it ebbs and flows. I know that before I got in the band, there were stretches where they would hardly tour at all for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, a ton of money would fall into headquarters laps and the band would be out on the road, for 60 days out of the year, so it does come and go. We're in a little bit of a downturn right now, but obviously with COVID. But just before all of this stuff happened, the band was kind of starting to ramp up a little bit more. We had just done our first full-length tour in a little while, and we had another one. Basically, when everything shut down for COVID, about a month after it all shut down, we were supposed to go do a 3-week California tour, and that got canceled. But the band tours quite a bit when things are normal. And then in addition to touring, it's obviously we're in Washington, D.C. a lot, supporting kind of Coast Guard headquarters functions. But I would say more than any of the other service bands, we play our concert to ceremony ratio is the most favorable of any of the premier service bands, for sure. That's a great question.
Yeah, Sammy has one.
Yeah.
Are there any tools or suggestions you would have for someone that's looking to learn how to do at least their own basic repairs on their instruments?
Absolutely. That is a great question. Okay.
We want a tour of the shop.
Okay. Sure, I'll turn all the lights on. The lighting's weird when all the lights are on in here. So get yourself some good screwdrivers. Number one, actually, these are, let's see. You don't have to get this. These ones are a lot, but these are made by, there it is right there. These are made by Weha, which is a German tool manufacturer. Where's my camera? There it is. There we go. And you can get a set of these. Actually, if you you can go to JL Smith or Faree's Tools, either one, you should be able to find sets of screwdrivers. But the little bitty ones that we'll keep in our case sometimes can be difficult to use. A good screwdriver that actually has this length of a blade is going to be a lot, not only easier to use, but safer to use. You're less likely to kind of slip and stab yourself and things like that. The other thing, a spring hook. If you go to JL Smith, and this is used to, if you have springs that pop out, or whatever, if you have a spring that's too tense and you want to bend it kind of back the other way, this is a great tool to have. And it's basically just a knitting needle or a crochet hook with a notch cut out of it. If you can see that. And Sarah, I can give you kind of some of these vendors that sell all this stuff. This is one of the things that I use more than anything else because I have big, clumsy fingers. But a good pair of tweezers is really helpful. You guys writing this down? It's called a pad slick, and it can be really helpful with some basic key bending stuff. And that's something, I don't know, Sarah, if you ever want to do like a quick thing with your students, I'd be happy to do a basic kind of maintenance and tips and tricks on, things you should know about taking care of your instrument or doing quick little adjustments, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we would love that. And also maybe after COVID, we could bring you here as a guest.
That would be awesome. I've actually thought about doing we can talk about this offline, but doing like a thing where I'll go to schools and kind of do a little class and then diagnose instruments and basically bring a little traveling workshop.
That would be so cool.
Oh, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah. I bet you other regional schools would probably be interested too if you wanted to do a little Wisconsin tour. We could all pitch in and make sure you're compensated for your time.
Sounds like a plan. So this is a really great, if you get a pair of hook nose pliers like this, ask your bassoon playing friends. They'll probably use these when they work on their reeds. But these are really awesome. The pliers that I use more than anything else are these, and they're made by Music Medic. It's a modified pair of parallel jaw Nipex pliers. But those get pretty pricey. So you can just go to Amazon and do a search for hook nose pliers. You want to make sure, this is very important. So if you're taking notes, then write this down. Do not get pliers that have like serrated jaws on the inside. They should be smooth. They should have a smooth inside here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, let's see.
What do you use the pliers for the most? What kind of adjustments?
Well, when I'm using more often than not, it's to grab rods and push them in or pull them out. If I'm using pliers for key bending, which then you're starting to get into more than just traditional basic stuff. But if I'm key bending, so I have actually, well, as far as the shop tour goes, I'll show you my pliers, because let's see. I think it's really easier just to take that. Where's the plier rack? There we go. Those are the pliers. So there's, I don't know how many pair there are, but it's about 20 or so different pairs of pliers, and they all have different jobs. This one, oh, this one, for example, is just for bending springs. You know, and then you have pliers, or it's just something for everything. Heavy key bending, light key bending, what's called swedging. This is a pair of pliers I use a lot. And this actually stretches the metal at the end of the hinge tube, so that there's less play in the key. You know, if you take, probably any one of you, if you take a key on your clarinet and kind of move it back and forth, you'll see that there's what's called end play. You know, take one of your side keys and just move it that way, and does it wiggle? And so we have special pliers that will tighten that and keep that from happening. Let's see. Should we continue shop tour?
Yeah, we'd love that.
All right. How do I? Okay. Here's when customers come in and they need things like reeds. Pads. You need to have this many kinds of pads stocked at least. And then I have more all over there. Let's see. If any of you guys hung out in your repair person's shop, anytime you go into a shop, you want to see one of these. This is an important machine. This is a mag machine. And it's what's really it's a really sensitive leak detection device. Again, pliers. These are reamers. I use these for barrel making. And then all different sorts of things that every one of these wooden handles has a different job. Those are my kids. That's Benjamin and Caroline. So when I first started out, this was the first lathe I bought. And then I kind of got more and more into doing more stuff, and I moved up to this lathe. The lathe is the thing that spins stuff around. And then this is the newest acquisition. So this is the lathe I pretty much use for everything. And that's used for barrel making. You can turn bass clarinet tenons on it when you have to do tenon work. Yeah, this is my buffing center over here. The messiest job is when you make dull keys shiny. So it's a converted closet that turned into a buffing center. Lots of storage, lots of clarinets. Yeah.
What kind of clientele do you work with? Like, who are your main clients? Just
I work with really everybody. I'm not. There are definitely people that do what I'm doing that will refuse to take anything other than a professional clarinet that is in really good condition already, that's not what I do. I would say 70% of the people I work with are professional players or college level players. I work more on buffet R13s than any other instrument for sure. And I sell more buffet R13s than any other instrument. But if a student, if a seventh grader comes in with her Yamaha, and it needs new pads, I'm always happy to do that too. My wife is a band director, a high school band director. So I pretty much am not allowed to say I won't work on that. But if she brings a bassoon that's broken in half into my shop, I'll say no. But yeah, most of what I do is clarinet overhaul and restoration and barrel making. And then, there's also, I do some flute work. I have a full complement of flute pads and flute body tools, and I know how to do all that stuff. And that's all, I don't advertise that I know how to do it, but if somebody brings their stuff in, I've got one guy who's bringing me an instrument tomorrow, and his girlfriend is a flute player or something, and she's bringing her flute in too, that sort of thing. But it started out because it was clarinet work, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we were in kind of, in our area, there isn't, we needed somebody around here doing this, you know? I took the main impetus for all of this was, you know, I'd had in the back of my mind to start a shop for years. And then I took my clarinet to a very reputable person, one of those people that only works on professional instruments and all of that, and spent $900 on an overhaul and got it back and was really, really upset with the work that was done. And I think it was so I went and undid and redid with the tools I had in the house, redid a lot of the work. And at that point, I just started acquiring tools and supplies and pads, and just started doing it myself because I'd had the training and I hadn't been using it. So
Yeah. I think I need to send my clarinets to you for an overhaul. I'd actually, when we were at Florida State, maybe it was before you got there, but some repair guy came through and mucked up my A clarinet, and I've never really trusted anyone since, but I would trust you.
send them on over.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
I haven't found a repair person yet, like my person, so I'll send them to you.
How far I mean, there are some people in the Midwest. There are definitely,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's, and I don't know, maybe I can send you guys a bunch of barrels or something if you want to mess around with them and
That
see
was
what you think.
my next question was, how did you get into making barrels, and what kind, like, do you know, tell us a little bit about those barrels and the aim of
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a gazillion different barrel makers out there now, and for the most part, they're all kind of riffs on the Manig taper, you know. The Hans Manig was the first person to really make an aftermarket clarinet barrel or modified clarinet barrels, and his idea was basically the mouthpiece bore is bigger than the top joint bore of any clarinet. And so he created the inverse cone where the barrel tapers down, so the top of the barrel's bore is slightly bigger than the bottom. There's also, so my barrels, and there are a lot of them that do this. Cal Opperman would make barrels the same way. They do that. It's the Manig taper, but it's got a slight modification, and it hourglasses out just a tiny bit at the bottom. And then I actually have two different ones that I make, and then I also do one that's just a straight Manig taper. Then those two different sets of reamers that I use to make them. You know, one of the things that's interesting that I've discovered about it, because it's been a real journey with figuring everything out and you know, making hundreds of barrels before I was really comfortable with showing anything to anybody, you know. But they really are, you can make 3 barrels out of the same wood that are within hundredths of a millimeter exactly identical, and each one will play differently, you know. And that's why, you know, if you're looking for an aftermarket barrel, and you know, obviously the Bakun barrels are the most popular ones out there, but if you just order one and have them send you one, you really don't know what you're going to get. You know, you've got to really be able to try different ones. I had a person that was here at my shop trying out instruments, and I had a handful of my barrels out for him to try, and he was messing with different stuff, the factory barrel, what he had, and he put one of my barrels on, and it was not great, you know. But then he put another one on, also, you know, same thing. It was a Grenadilla barrel with the same specs, and I was in the shop leaving him alone, letting him do his thing, and I was like, whoa, what is that? And then I realized right after I said it, it might have been just the factory barrel. I probably should have been more of a salesman, but it really lit up. It was, you know, and it's the piece of wood, It's your clarinet, the way your mouthpiece is going to match. There's so many variables that it's really great to be able to sit down and try a bunch of different things. And it really can. I mean, I see it as an extension of the mouthpiece. It doesn't have as much impact as a mouthpiece, obviously, but it has a lot more than a bell does. And it can make a difference. It can make a difference with response. For the most part, your clarinet is going to play at the same pitch levels as it did before when you got two of the same length barrels on. So it doesn't really make a big difference with pitch, but really look for response, ease of transition between registers, especially I've noticed the altissimo register. It can make a big difference. Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? They're all tired. You can tell they're hungry.
Yeah.
Any other
We
questions?
just came off the spring break here. My kids, we just just got back from vacation. So we're all still wiped out.
I saw that. I was a little jealous. I have not vacationed yet.
You guys should go.
Yeah. School is almost, we got a month left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm ready. We're all ready.
Yeah.
Our COVID cases have been pretty low. And so next semester, we're going closer back to normal. And I'm really excited for that. So, any other questions? Any questions from home? Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, and it's just really great to see your face again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys. I hope I didn't talk too fast or too much because I do that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna stop the recording real quick.
All right.